What is up, guys, and welcome to another video. Now, I'm gonna talk a lot about what's going on around the league and what happens in the playoffs because the playoffs are like the best part of um of the year for me. I think March Madness, the playoffs, they're just everything. I know I've covered the Knicks, but let me cover the rest of the league and what has happened because we had a big game. Um, the Lakers versus the Pelicans was a big game, and it was a big game because it was a playing game. I mean, these two teams have, played a lot. They just played like before this game. Like I'm talking like they didn't just pretend they never played this game. They played a game like a day ago or a few days ago. It felt like these teams know each other, and I felt like it was that kind of vibe where they didn't have to make this okay. We already know set in stone what the Lakers are going to do if you're the Pelicans. We already know set in stone what the Pelicans are going to do if you're the Lakers. It was about can players make plays? And I think you saw it all game long. Zion made some plays to get in the game. You know, they just know each other so much well, so it goes down to just who's going to make the plays. And you wouldn't know it like if it was, for example, we're talking about the Bulls versus the Hawks that I'll talk about tonight. But like they haven't seen each other a lot. So it's not like I can tell you, okay, DeMar's gotta hit some shots. No, but this was a game where Zion's gotta get the basket. Now they have done a lot of stuff where they have given Zion cushion. And that's what your coaching is supposed to do. Make sure that guy can get to the basket because once that guy gets to the basket, no one can stop him. I don't care if Anthony Davis on the other side. Zion has that ability that he was born with, to just being able to score at a high level, and he worked on a lot. And he just slippery. I know it's weird to say, but it's the way he can get through cracks and the way he can also elevate over an AD. He made AD look like Thomas Bryant out there. He made AD look like AD's great, but like he was able to make shots over AD that not a lot of players can make, and he used his body, got through. They were doing the exact same game plan, and that's where I go back to. The Pelicans knew they were going to do the exact same game plan. Let's give Zion these open looks. But what Zion did was he was just going right to the basket. He took that space, ate it up. No joke. No, he actually ate the. He didn't actually eat. No, stop it. He carved that space up and was able to be slippery inside the paint. And it also helped because the Pelicans were making shots in the first quarter. I think that opened up the lane a little bit more for Zion. It didn't open up like a lot, but like it opened it up enough for him to get downhill. And great shots by Trey Murphy for the start of the game. Great shots by Herb Jones. Like they were really hitting those threes in the first quarter, which let Zion go downhill, which had Zion get an easier look downhill. I think when you get those games with the Lakers and the Pelicans don't hit their shots, but I think today they really did. I mean, yesterday they really hit their shots, which made the paint wide open. Who's going to play with more force? And I think that was the biggest thing going in this game. I think I hit it at it. Who's going to play with more force? And the Pelicans came in there. They didn't play with force, they played with finesse. Like, we want this game. This is an actual game for us. We need this, man. We got to play with force. And Willie Green kept saying it over and over again. Let's play with force, man. Darvin Ham kept, I don't know if it's Darvin or Willie Green, but Darvin Ham kept saying, let's play with force. Come on, let's play with force. And I think that was the biggest takeaway from this game, is who's going to play with more force. And the Lakers through this series, which, hey, look at the record. I don't know if they won. I think they sweep the season series. Like, they played with more force. The Lakers played with more force, and guess what? They won every single game. So it was about who's going to play with more force, and how do you carve enough space for Zion to get downhill? And that was the biggest part of the game for the Pelicans, is how can they get Zion downhill? But yeah, I think both teams met force with force. I think both teams did a great job meeting force to force, and that's how the Pelicans stepped in this game. But AD's hard. I mean, it's hard to guard. It's just personnel, man. AD's very hard to guard. Like LeBron is very hard to guard. So is his age. He's very hard to guard. So, just the personnel is terrible for them to be able to stop him. But the Pelicans did their best. I mean, they had Jonas Valanciunas guarding AD for a longer time than they used to. They would just automatically go to the small ball five, which we'll talk about later, a little bit late. Not like later, late, like I'm talking about 2 hours. No, we'll talk about like a few minutes. But they step with that Jonas Valanciunas at the five. They kept going with it because I think Reggie said on the broadcast, like, you kind of want AD to get, exhausted on a defensive end, and you want him to feel that big body. Pause. You want to feel that body on him, and you want him to, um, you want him to feel post up, man. You want him to actually have to move his hips, which, I think his back hurt going in this game. So he said he was fine. Of course, he can be fine. It's a playing game. It's a very big game. Now, his hips were tested. I mean, let's go right at him. We have Jonas Valanciunas, one of the biggest guys in the league. Let's see if we can go right at him. And AD was having none of that. Jonas Valanciunas shot 1 for 7, but they tried to make AD work defensively, and AD, it's just too easy for him defensively. There's no work in this. He's just been able to perfect his timing, perfect everything, perfect when he takes the contact, how hard he takes the contact, and he's great on both ends. And they Pelicans tried to test him. And then obviously, after that didn't work, they went with the small ball lineup. It goes right down to my next note. Small ball lineup with Larry Nance Jr. at the 5. And Larry Nance Jr. hit a 3, and I think that kind of was the turning point. When Larry Nance Jr. hit that 3 from the corner, that kind of was like, yo, we have a stretch, kind of stretch 5. Now we can go attack. Which, granted, Larry Nance Jr., I would leave open, but it was just great to see that their 5 was hitting some shots because Valanciunas was not hitting anything. AD just went, you know what AD just did to counter it also? He went, you know what? You want to turn around and take that mid-range jumper? You go do it. You go do it. So you see what happens. It goes off the rim. But that's why they went right to small ball 5, and that's why Jonas Valanciunas just can't play in this matchup. I know you want force, but man, Jonas Valanciunas he cannot guard a pick and roll. He can't guard, AD. He just gets neutralized by AD, which a lot of players do, but like, you need him, and he just gives you no space, so what's the point of playing him? And you need Zion to feast, so having a lot of space in the paint is not going to help Zion, obviously. I don't think you need to be an amazing NBA mind. I'm not even an amazing NBA mind, and I know that. Like, you don't need a lot of you need to have a lot of space in that paint for Zion to drive, and to take his man off the dribble. And Jonas Valanciunas is stuck right down there, and if he isn't, he's at the 3-point line. They're going to just sag off and bring another defender to load up on Zion, and they had to just pull the plug. They had to say, hey, you cannot play this series. You cannot play not the series. You can't play this game. We have to go with Larry Nance Jr. and we have to go smaller. D'Lo, he came in and stepped up, and a lot of the role players for the Lakers stepped up. And to go to the other side, the Pelicans. I think the biggest thing in this game was the Pelicans. Their role players did not step up, and I go into this series being like, this could be one of the deepest teams in the league. The Pelicans I'm talking about. They did not show any of their depth, and I don't know why Willie Green to go down to his bench and find players who could make plays. And I think Trey Murphy can make plays. I don't know why he was not playing that a lot more. Like, you go in, you want shooting, hey, Jordan Hawkins. Like, you have to use the people on your bench. And the Pelicans have a lot of guys on the bench that haven't been able to use them. And the Lakers, shout out D'Angelo Russell, big X factor going this game. You know what AD and LeBron are going to do? They didn't really do a lot this game for their standards. So it was great to see, D'Lo picking up the slack, and quietly, D'Angelo has shot 42% from 3. And that's big for this Lakers team because they need somebody who can stretch that floor. And when you started the season, it was like, oh, the Lakers really cannot shoot. Like they really are, let's drive to the paint. But Lakers have really, really made themselves to a very good 3-point shooting team. Bi benched late, and I think Brandon Ingram being benched late was a big thing in this game. And Bi being benched late was because of just his bad shooting. He didn't shoot the ball well tonight. He didn't shoot the ball well last night. Bi was just not ready, and I think that's the thing with injuries. You don't put him right in the playoffs, and when you put a player right in the playoffs, this stuff's gonna happen. And then you see these performances, and you're like, how do I play them? Like when my bench is working that well, how do I play them? What do I do? But I think that you could argue play Bi, but I don't really hate. I don't really very. My dislike scale for that is not very high. I do dislike it, but it's not that high. Zion injury. The Zion injury was huge because he had 40, but it's just when it happened. The Pelicans were on a huge run. They're about to come back in this game. You thought, oh, shoot, man. This Pelicans team could really, really win this game. And he just goes down and he throws his towel on the ground. He's walking in the locker room. I see the notification. Everything in the basketball world snap gone for this Pelicans team. And it was so close for them to take this game, but Zion just landed wrong, and now he's out for 2 weeks with a hamstring injury. It's how basketball works. It's how sports works, and it's sad to see these injuries happen. Definitely for a team that has to play again tomorrow. Let's change subjects to the Kings versus the Warriors. Keanu Ellis, man, he's somebody that is undrafted. I think he's undrafted. Who just somebody who's a big time story for this Kings team, and he's got to bring up from playing in the G League, playing with the Kings G League team to just now being a big part in their roster. I think if you could play defense, you could still. I know it's a 3-point league now, but if you can play defense and you can shoot that three pretty well, I think you can get yourself a spot in the NBA. If you're on the G League team, I think that's those things that make you realize how much teams need those role players like Keanu Ellis. And down in a playoff series, you have one game where Keanu Ellis is a big-time moment. You're winning that game. You're heading over to the next game. And you're heading over with a win. I think that's the playoffs right there. You have a player that steps up that you don't expect, and that's Keanu Ellis right there from Alabama. Play defense on Curry. Stop their movement, which I think should have had more. They should have had way more movement off the screens and everything that they do. But Keanu Ellis was big in that. And shout out Keegan Murray. He also hit some threes. I mean, I was shouting out Keegan Murray for his offense, but his defense, if you think about it, he did guard Curry for a lot of that game. And his length plus Keanu Ellis just being, a small guard who can also get in those passing lanes and affect the dribble of Curry. It's just a big time mix, and it's a very good mix to throw out the Hall of Famer. It's the only thing you could do. It's just show them two different guys who have two different skill sets offensively, but they're both high quality, and they both can stop. Or not stop, they can both contain Curry. And the way Curry just didn't shoot the ball in that first half there was no urgency at all for him. No urgency. And I don't understand that. You're in a playing game. It's a one-game elimination. That's the fun thing about this play-in. That's the thing that I love Adam Silver for, is that he made this play-in game like it's a March Madness. Do you think somebody just goes, hey, let's play with no urgency at all? We're in March Madness. Let's just stop. You know what? Purdue just says, nah, we're just going to not play today. It's March Madness, but we're just not going to play. Like, that's the stuff that cannot happen. We're not going to play in this first half. Like, Purdue goes, oh, Zach Edey goes, let's not play in this first half, man. Team, let's not play. No, that's not what you do. In these one-game elimination games, every single moment counts. And Curry not taking a lot of shots in that first quarter, in the first half, matters. It doesn't matter in a regular season game, but it matters now where stakes are higher and the crowd's in it. Everybody's energized. The Kings are energized. They're hitting shots. You need to counteract that, and your best counteract is probably that Stephen Curry 3-point shot, and he was just not shooting that as much as he should. He's still shot it, but like not as much as he should. And again, shout out Keon Ellis and Keegan's defense. They're great, and they kind of shut him down. But the second half, it got off a little bit, but I think it was too little, too late. And where's the second creator? Like, I think that the Warriors need to go in this offseason of like, where's the second creator? Like, where is it? Because it's definitely not Andrew Wiggins. It's not Klay Thompson. Klay Thompson shot 0 for 10. He should have shot more. And he should. That sounds awful. But those Splash Bros need to shoot more. They need to have more energy. They need to have more urgency. They need to start shooting, and they need to start shooting that first quarter, and it mattered. They played with zero urgency. The Kings just out-hustled them. They wanted them more. I know it's cliche, but they just wanted every single possession. It's every single possession. You have to be on your lookout. And the Warriors were just slacking off for the first half, and it was just enough for the Kings to pull out a big W. It was a game where you realize where's the other scoring coming from. Jonathan Kuminga had a good few minutes, but without Curry, where's the scoring? Where is it? It's not coming from Andrew Wiggins. It's not coming from Klay. Off the dribble, every team has those formidable guys. The Knicks, I'm just saying the Knicks, but the Knicks have Don DiVincenzo. He's a formidable guy off the dribble. Who the Warriors have? And I want you to go and think about that as I end this. Have a nice day. Peace out. Hope to see you night 2. Peace. Have a nice day. And let's go Knicks. Peace.